Hello, welcome to episode 8 of the Splashdown podcast. I'm Snoot.
I'm Krog.
And welcome to episode 8.
Oh no, the dementia's hit you.
It's a little redundant, but there we are. Today we're going to be going over a spoilerific overview of the story mode from Splatoon 3.
You asked me today if we were going to do a non-spoiler version, and I was like, we'd talk about 5 minutes and said, yeah, it's good, go play it.
Talk about the mechanics, be like, it's a bit like the Octo expansion, and it goes over what you do in the game, so it's like a tutorial.
Yeah,
interesting stuff.
And then we were like, see you next time, bye.
Love you and leave you, and that lot. Yes. So.
Horrible. That's another thing for me to edit out.
No, you don't have to edit that out. That's quality podcast content.
Okay, fine.
Hope you enjoyed me cracking my knuckles there.
Nobody likes.
Yes. So the premise of the story mode is a little bit different this time, for you see the great Zapfish has been stolen.
Oh my god.
Yes. So you meet up with this strange character by entering a sewer. Completely unlike the first and second game.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Yes, it's Captain Cuttlefish again. Hooray!
I saw today that I didn't know this. His name's Craig.
Craig Cuttlefish?
Yeah.
I'd never heard that.
I was on the Splatoon Wikipedia type thing.
Incopedia?
No, it wasn't that one.
Oh god.
Yeah, his name's Craig Cuttlefish.
Well, perhaps it is. Perhaps it isn't.
Maybe someone edited it. I would like to believe that his name's Craig anyway.
I hope so too. Which, that's a reference to a podcast which is now delisted and was listened to.
Long forgotten podcast that nobody's gonna remember.
The Golden USB podcast. One episode survives. Anyway. Captain Cuttlefish is here. Hooray! And he's...
Our favourite sewer dweller.
He's here. This time the sewer leads to Octo Crater.
Yes.
Do you know what it's called?
Isn't it Octo Canyon?
No, that's in the first game.
It might be another Octo Canyon, because I think that the one in Splatoon 2 is also called Octo Canyon. It could be Crater though, because it is.
Yes, you're in a crater in the desert. I'm thinking it's got big, that crater in Mexico of the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs.
Some lore that you get in like the Alterna logs, which we'll get into later, and it says what that crater is, but I forgot what it was.
Yep, me too. So that's good.
It's to do with the end of the world.
Oh, you mean that's like one of the many pits, the kettle areas that humans retreated to?
Yes, it is, yeah.
In fact, it's the main one, it seems.
It's the one where they thrived.
Yes, which is rather Fortnite? No.
Fortnite.
Fallout. It's rather Fallout-like.
Yeah, that's their vault.
Indeed, yes. And it's got anyway, it's a big canyon. It's a big crash site from a meteor, and it's filled full of fuzz. How strange. What's going on? Anyway, Captain Cuttlefish doesn't seem to know. All that he knows is that DJ Octavio is at it again. His Octarian army is on the move. This time, they're fluffy. What is that old sea dog up to? Very strange.
It is strange.
Anyway, this time you have a small fry friend who may or may not be called Little Buddy to help you out.
May or may not be.
He's called Little Buddy when you're customizing him, giving them the pineapple hair or cowlick. But is he called that? He's usually called Little Buddy, and he's usually called Small Fry in text.
Yeah, but Small Fry is like the... I was gonna say the breed. He's the breed of salmonid. That's it, like its life stage.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes they call him your little buddy. So.
He's a little buddy. Anyway, it says in the alternate logs. No, it's a sunken scroll. That salmonage mature when returning to the waters where they were spawned. Sometimes, in very rare cases, a young salmonid will stray too far from their original school during the run and become lost. Their wandering request to return home can lead to prolonged starvation and an insatiable appetite. So, I guess that's why he's with you.
Because, like, there's no, like, written dialogue to be like, oh, so where did you get your little... But actually, no, like, either Callie or Marie asks you where you get him from, but obviously you can't answer because it's like one of those bits of dialogues that come up when you keep pressing A to talk to them.
Yeah, it's a Callie thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where did that little buddy come from? Silence. Great. Very helpful. Yes.
So I guess like, they now have, like, little buddy friends? It's like pets?
Maybe, but when you go to the Splatlands, there's nobody else has one. It's just yours around. I think, personally, this straying too far from the herd thing is a reference to what can happen in Salmon Run, where you stand in front of a little buddy, like the end of a run, whenever they're all returning to the ocean, and it just kind of like
lags behind
and does a little sine wave thing, and then just disappears rather than going into the sea with the rest of them.
That's so sad.
That's how a little buddy do.
But in Salmon Run they're evil.
Salmon from a girl who is evil.
Yeah, so I guess this like insatiable appetite makes him able to eat the goo.
Yes, this insatiable appetite is important for his in-game uses. You throw him at the goo, he eats the goo.
Yum yum yum.
Good times. He goes poof. You have to give him a certain amount of roe eggs though, just to do it.
Which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, he needs an appetite to eat more.
Also, it makes a very ties it in with the Salmon Run, which ties it further to the boss, the villain.
Ooh.
So yeah, anyway, this Octo Canyon's kind of boring.
Boring?
Well, it's not boring, but it's like, it gives you like the really basic tutorials. It's like, this is how you move, this is how you shoot.
Yeah, you're very overpowered at this point. You have all the upgrades possible, and you are a squiddling god. You can zip and zap them. Or Octoling. Can you fight as an Octoling?
What do you mean?
In Octo Canyon?
I was an Octoling.
You did?
Yes.
What, did what's his name? Did Captain Craig Cuttlefish? Did he?
No, he doesn't say anything.
Oh, he just takes that on the chin.
I guess he stopped being racist because, like, this is like 5 years in the future.
You're racist now, father. Oh, should we be racists too?
Yeah, it's like Calvary, like,
should we be racist?
Well, he has a reason to not like Octolings, but like, we get over that shit.
We fought them in the Great Turf War.
Bamboozlers, I hear.
Yeah, Bamboozlers, the original squid weapon. Makes you think. Anyway. Then, at the end of the Octo Crater, who do we fight? Why, it's the final boss, of course. Crazy Frog himself, DJ Octavio.
I was like, my DJ Octavio song, but yeah.
It was Crazy Frog, unfortunately.
I get them. There's like a bit in the song that goes.
Banger.
I just shortened it.
Yeah. Anyway, I really like the new synth they've added to that. Sounds really good.
That's a really good song.
Banger on the original. Also, banger now.
That fight introduces that. Well, it has the old like you ink his fist thing, and it goes and punches him back. But it also introduces a new special, which is the ink vac.
Yeah, which is
And that was cool. You throw little buddy into his vacuum to clog it up, which is just like, oh, little buddy goes through so much in this. Like, he deserves like a pat on the back.
it's made of steel. This little buddy, he's great. Yep, you throw him at the vacuum, shorts out the vacuum, gives you an opportunity to ink him and eventually get him out of his mecha. So, what does defeating DJ Octavio bring you? Does it bring you joy to the world?
No, it gives you a plot twist.
A major plot twist. You see, you were fighting the whole time on top of a concrete, like, nuclear bunker entrance type
like
thing.
A concrete dome.
It's suspiciously like what they put nuclear fallout under in the Pacific, if you've seen
Yeah, they do. Don't
worrying
they?
video of waves lapping over one of those things. Yeah. Anyway, it gets cracked when the mecha falls on him, and oh no, you fall through it. Wasn't as solid under there as you were led to believe. You fall a long way. All your gear flies everywhere. Little buddy flies off.
No, Craig, no.
Craig's gone.
Yeah, there's like a bit of dialogue before then where it's like, "What you doing, Octavio? Where's the zapfish?" And then Octavio's like, "What are you doing with my octolings?" Because the octolings are now fluffy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Captain Cuttlefish doesn't really take that in because he's senile.
All of this begs the question: is the mammalification much like the bimbification?
The mummy.
Mummy, breast milk.
Sorry,
Mummy?
I mean breast milk.
Will this give the octolings big milky breasts?
I didn't think you were gonna go there. I said mummy by accident because I was like, mama.
Will the octolings grow milky breasts that are full of milk, and will they? Yeah, is it just a skin deep they get fluffy, or has it like changed how they breathe?
I'm gonna say probably like skin deep because there's no like evolution there. It's just some goo.
Yeah, fair enough. Magical bear and egg glue. Made with the crystals.
The crystals.
Yeah.
You mentioned bear.
I did mention a bear. Caution. Bear in area.
Bear operating in area.
Oh god. Those paw prints meant something. Either way.
Alterna is this that's what this land is called.
You fall down into Alterna, hooray! Which, as we've already alluded to, was the last bastion of humanity. Spoilers.
Yeah, you can see off in the distance this rocket ready to be... Well, it's ready to go.
Yeah, rocket on its platform, surrounded.
There's also a submarine there at one stage.
Ooh, I never noticed
It's
that.
like the fourth one. You get a what? There's a kettle on it.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought you meant like there was a submarine in the distance, like watching you.
No.
That would be
It's
a good
actually
Easter egg.
sort of playable.
Yeah, nah, you go on it, yeah. There's a...
Yeah, it's a
rocket.
snowy sort of... I wouldn't say wasteland, because it seems kind of cozy, but also it's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's bits of things everywhere. There's
the 3D printed Maui heads that are just everywhere.
They're so
I think
cool.
if anyone's played Splatoon 3, they're very well acquainted with the Moai heads now.
Yeah, put them in your locker.
Make them kiss, make them get shot in the head, like make them drunk. Yeah, we've seen them all.
And we want to see more. I find that very amusing.
It is fine.
Far more amusing than saying some random stuff in the Miiverse posts for attention. Either way, Alterna. Wow. Here's what it says in the notes, and I quite agree. This is a real step up. This is a beautiful location. It's a series of 6 islands Plus the whatchamacallem, the rocket
The
world.
end stage, yeah. There's... I forgot what I was going to say now. If you hadn't seen the trailer for it, you'd assume that it was going to be like the same old Octo Canyon kind of thing that you've always done until that point, and you're in this like weird human world.
Comes out the blue, and you're just like, yo. When you fall into Alterna first, it gives you a splash screen. It gives you Splatoon 3, zipping in like the coolest fashion possible through multiple languages, and it's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. And then that pays off because that's being projected by the computer who gives you all your trials, who's called Orca.
Automated something or other. Something. I can't remember if it has a... no, it does, if you do the first trial again.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a computer. It gives you trials, and it's
Much like Octo Expansion.
much like Octo Expansion, indeed, where you had Sea Cucumber. Here you have Orca, who and their symbol is a nice little pixelated whale.
It's cute.
It is cute. It does piss on you if you fail, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah, but so does Sea Cucumber.
Sea Cucumber explodes you.
Oh yeah, no, it dumps ink on you here. You just explode in the Octo Expansion.
Yeah. Both rather Mother Grim, but they're...
I think it's payback because of all of like the shooting you do to the Sea Cucumber before you start.
Indeed. Yeah, there's no Orca to shoot here. You never see Orca. Orca's all around you.
It's a computer.
Orca's in the walls, I think.
Yeah, it's...
Orca definitely communicates through the magic crystals. The magic crystals make everything work. I like them.
The magic crystals also give it the sky.
Exactly. The humans created magical crystals. Like, they didn't create them.
Which is in the Alterna logs. If you haven't read the Alterna logs, you have to read them because it's full of lore.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone's played the single player and just gone, I'm not interested in what's going on here. I'm gonna just go through.
I think people would.
Oh God, why?
Some people don't care. It's like people who skip cutscenes in like the Call of Duty or something.
Oh, I can't do that. If you play at a story, it's presented.
It's like
it's fine.
Cutscene skip of Big Smoke ordering at the drive-through. You would never.
2 number 9s.
That's lore.
A number 9 large.
A number 6.
2 number 45s. One with cheese. A number 7. And a large soda.
What kind
Diet.
of soda? Yeah.
Anyway, that's also what happens in Splatoon at the end.
Yeah.
That Mr. Grizz comes and he's like, what can I get for you? And you're like, justice. This is for little buddy. Anyway, that doesn't happen. So what do you do in Alterna? You do mini trials, as we've gone over, much like the Octo expansion. And they're very much in the same vein the whole way through. Not quite as hard, for the most part.
It's not... No, overall, it's not as hard as Octo expansion.
Yeah, Octo expansion has more.
Some of them are difficult, and some of them are easy. But the thing is, you can like kind of skip them if you can't do them. You don't really need to finish all of them to get to the bosses and the rocket at the end.
I finished with about 20,000 more row eggs than I needed.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, we should talk about those bosses.
Yes, but yeah, no, alright.
We've gone to Alterna. Who are these bosses going to be? Are they going to be big mammals? Is it going to be
big mammals?
Oh God! Is it going to be a lion?
Tiger.
Maybe a tiger, a gorilla.
Bear. No,
Is it going to be a bear? Who knows? No,
you've already said bear.
it is in fact the idol group. Ooh, it is Deep Cut, Fry, Shiver, and Big Man. Exactly. So the boss of the second world is Fry. The boss of the fourth world is Shiver. The boss of the sixth world is Big Man. And boy, are these cool fights.
Really cool.
Yeah. The first, Fry's, probably the least cool.
It's kind of creepier, I think. It's just like the moray eels in general are kind of creepy.
Yeah, moray eels are horrible. And she controls them.
I found out the little sort of square thing she's on is like an octo stamper that's been hollowed out, which is disturbing.
Yes, and it has eels coming out of its eyes, which is quite horrible.
That's what the moray eel do.
And only made me think of one of those doctored images of parasites you see occasionally.
Oh, like that, like sort of tryptophobia kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyway, it was coming out of a octo stamper, so you can just hope those things are tanks and they're controlled from inside by octo troopers. I don't know. Either way, she's hollowed it out and filled it full of eels, so that's nice.
Maybe she didn't hollow it out and the eels did it anyway, but she has command over the eels because she's a commander of the eel clan.
Indeed, she's head of the eels. Eel boss.
King of the eels. Eel boss. Gaslight. Gatekeep.
Exactly. Then we get Shiver. Shiver is queen of the sharks. Ooh. She's a shark girl, queen of the sharks. She rides around on Mr. Mega.
Master Mega.
Oh, Master Mega, who is a megalodon. Massive boy. He's great.
He's huge.
He is.
He's a good boy.
He's like a special little puppy boy. And she rides him around, and you got to hit her off him. And when you do, that's that. It's a cool fight. It's very easy, let's be honest. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's got Sharknado references in it, so
There's a
that's something.
Sharknado. Yeah.
Yep. That exists. And then finally, the boss of World 6 is Big Man.
Big man. 8.
He just wants to be nice.
Yeah, this is sort of like the calmest boss fight I've probably ever like experienced, because he's just sort of like he's the Super Mario Sunshine specters. Are they called specters?
They're called Phantomanta.
Phantomantas. Oh,
It's the
yeah.
Phantomanta, and he comes along and he splits up. If you don't know what that is, it's a big shadowy manta ray that swims across the ground in a kind of, it's like made of paper, and it spreads its ink everywhere, and
Very reminiscent of Pigman's.
exactly, it turns into Big Man. And this was a little bit spoiled for me by a podcast I listened to, which was a bit annoying, but there we are. I wasn't 100% sure they're going to use the Phantomanta. I was only told it was a notorious level from Mario Sunshine is referenced, and I was like, it's either going to be Phantomanta or that one with the spinny blocks, which is also in Hat in Time. Anyway, it was Phantomanta. And yeah, my god, that's a cool fight.
It's really cool.
It's not very hard, but my
No,
goodness.
it's just like... Actually, I redid it so I could get footage. And right at the last bit where you have to shoot him, like outside of like all the inking form, he got stuck in like the raised platform, and I couldn't shoot him. It was difficult. I like had to get different angles on him.
Oh no.
But yeah, that's like a pretty easy boss fight, but really cool, and also Big Man.
Big Man's back. All right. Yeah.
He couldn't throw his bomb down properly.
Absolute goose.
It didn't explode.
No. It exploded on him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Anyway, as we say in the notes here, they are goblins after trinkets.
They are pure
Which-
goblin. they just after. I can't even. What was the item at the end?
It was a shaver. They were after the treasures of humanity, which in this case was a giant shaver. So
Yeah.
that's good. The humans in Splatoon universe are extremely eccentric, despite the. I guess they survived a nuclear war. What can you
Superior
say?
technology, all that. That's their trinket.
Yeah. They have giant blenders and they have giant shavers. Which, thinking about it, are they that giant? Humans are much
Squid.
bigger than squids.
Yeah.
And that's pretty consistently been the case. Like Judd is. But Judd is really
Judd
small.
is really small as well.
Let's just
But-
say he shrunk from years of cryostasis. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a magical cat anyway. He
Stunted his
doesn't
growth.
die. I don't know. Oh well. Yeah. They
Yeah.
are goblins after trinkets. They're not really that bad. They just want to
Yeah,
steal
they're
the
just
stuff
sort of
you're
like
after.
it's kind of Robin Hood type thing. It's like not even because it's like that would be like steal from the rich. They just want to plunder it and sell it off for the spotlands.
Yeah, just the thrill of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I can't imagine big man's really like sitting in it for the ride
No. Yeah.
because they've already got a TV show. They've already got a band. Like, why do you need to? That's just for the lulz.
Mm. It's just what they do in their time off.
Yeah, in their downtime, they're smugglers.
Which is kind of fun if you think about it. Yes. We should talk about the skill tree really quickly.
Yeah, that's something new they added. You can perk up a little buddy and your gun and your bombs and
Yeah, you had slight, like, bomb and gun upgrades in the previous games, but this is much more in depth.
yeah, you get like ink resistance as well and armor and it's yeah.
And a special power up for your Splashdown, which is the only place Splashdown appears in the game, which is fair enough. It's good for single player. That's good for multiplayer.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Skill tree, pretty cool. And you get all the skill points and salmon.
No, they're
Sardinium.
Sardinium. Yeah.
You get all the Sardinium and skill points when you go around the hub worlds, which gives you reason to explore them. And boy, are they worth
You
exploring!
should be exploring for them because then you get the sunken scrolls, which are also good for lore.
Yep, they're fantastic.
Because then, if you get the sunken scrolls, you get to find out about Big Man's like eating rituals and that kind of thing. So, worth it.
He wasn't on Team Food, but boy does he love eating. Makes you think.
That's so weird that he was on Team Fun. Well, I can get him being on Team Fun, but he's also like a food guy. He's a big man. He
Yeah.
likes his food.
Just as a side here, that Splatfest was Gear Grub Fun. Why wasn't it Gear Grub Games
Yeah.
for the alliteration? And couldn't they have given fun to Fry, who seemed more of a fun lover, and food to Big Man? I don't know. Like, doesn't... Maybe it's like it rolls off the tongue better in Japanese if it's in that order?
It was probably like some pun in Japanese because they love that kind of stuff. They love a good pun.
Yeah, enough to break Big Man's characterization in the
But-
second Splatfest.
It doesn't matter.
doesn't
He prefers
matter.
fun over food, I guess.
I guess maybe food's a job to him. It's part of his
Food's
ritual.
If food's a ritual, it's like
like-
how you would have to go and pray or something.
Oh, I have to eat blast, he says.
Oh, this spread of plankton. What a chore.
Yes. So that's the first 4 bosses. Should we talk about the 5th one now? The 5th and final boss.
The major boss.
Yes. Or well, before that, we
We
should talk about
the getting there.
the rocket.
So you use all the pieces that you collect from the bosses, and you make which I thought was going to be a gyrocopter to start off with all the pieces, and then I saw this like shaver contraption thing, and it's like, what?
It's like hell yeah, you got me there. Makes perfect sense in a kind of wacky Splatoon way.
Well, you don't get to use it either, because Agent 3 gets to use it, or Captain.
It's Captain 3, yeah. Captain 3 uses it and shaves the bottom of the rocket in a slightly penile sense. And
oh my god, I don't think of that. Bizarre.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And it's in a comedy sequence of Captain 3 and the Squid Sisters just going at it. And yeah, it's great. That's really funny. And yeah, didn't really care for the Squid Sisters before, to be honest, but after
they've
this...
They've had a lot of personality in this, which is good.
Yeah, love those guys now. Love that for you.
This is also the point where Deep Cut and the Squid Sisters sort of like join forces, and Big Man's like, "Oh, could you be our bosses?"
Ooh, mistresses, says Big Man.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So the Squid Sisters are now the bosses of Deep Cut. Deep lore. Makes you think.
Lore.
Side note, last Splatfest is going to be which idol group do you prefer? Just saying.
Because there's 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's clearly going to be Squid Sisters. Just saying.
I'd say Deep Cut because Big Man.
Deep Cut's good, yeah.
But okay, yeah.
Either way.
You make your way through the rocket, which is cool.
Yeah, there's some really good stages in there.
Reminiscent of escaping
the Nils statue in Octo Expansion, yeah.
Yeah.
Climbing it, get into the top.
You go into the gut and the inner workings. They had like weird names for the sections in the Octo Expansion.
Yeah, you were climbing a human body there.
Number 1, number 2, number 3 kind of thing.
Yes, you're going through a landing module of a rocket.
Now, we still don't know where the Zapfish is. And there isn't much, like, taken, like, notice of it, but towards the end of the rocket, you can see the Zapfish is there, trying to power it up.
Yeah, it's in the...
it's like in a tube.
Yeah, it's in the final tube, zipcaster tube.
Yeah.
Working your way up it. It's pretty cool. And it's just there, being used to juice up the rocket. I guess humans managed to get rockets running on electricity, so good for those guys before resource wars.
Oh yeah, at this point you find out that it's like Mr. Grizz has... we haven't even sort of talked about this. Mr. Grizz has like captured Captain Cuttlefish.
Yeah, I wish they'd handled that differently, to be honest. After you defeat
he's like
every
in a dark
world...
room, he's like, ooh, where am I? Ooh.
Where am I? That's fine. And then a voice says, in Mr. Grizz's voice, says, "Yo, I've got you," or something along those lines.
He's like, who the hell are you? Like,
and it should have ended transmission there. That would have been really cool, because it's like, you the player are like, is that Mr. Grizz?
But
there's
instead
like a
certain point where it's just like, I'm Mr. Grizz, and it's like, oh, but I wanted it to be a surprise.
You're like, what the hell?
Because I still was like, oh, no way could it actually be Mr. Grizz.
Yeah.
And it is.
After we predicted it.
We called this, like, before we even knew about Splatoon 3 coming out.
Yeah, we were like, next game is gonna be, the villain's gonna be Mr. Grizz, and he's gonna lead an army of salmonids, which he didn't do.
No.
I thought he was collecting all the golden eggs in order to hatch them, but instead he was using them to make fuzzy ooze.
Yeah. Who knew?
Filling a rocket full of them, which is a bit gross, really. He filled his rocket full of fuzzy ooze, needed the brain of a great mind, I guess, which is why he kidnapped Captain Cuttlefish.
What happens to Captain Cuttlefish is truly horrific.
That poor man, he got dried out.
He became desiccated.
Yeah.
Dry as a bone.
And he was dead, but then the single tear from Captain 3 brought him back to life. But not back to form, for he is still a dried squid.
That's kind of like, it kind of matches his personality. he's just this weird, dried, old thing. It was like, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, horrible, hyper-realistic squid.
They eat, like, dried squid like that in Japan, so it's kind of weird.
They do. It doesn't tend to have big, bobbly eyes and a
No.
beard, but there we are. Anyway, he's that now.
There's also foreshadowing with that, because there's, like, a sunken scroll with, like, a desiccated squid in it.
It's like, this has got to be a replica, hasn't it? And you're like, I hope so. Anyway. Yes, Captain Cuttlefish is desiccated, and oh no, Mr. Grizz sets the rocket off, and you're not on it. You don't follow him. You just kind of let him go, which is weird. But,
well, you're too busy thinking about, Craig's dead.
Craig's dead. There's 4 of us. 3 of us couldn't deal with Craig, while one of us, tries to stop Mr. Grizz launching this thing. But that's fine, it's fine. He launches the rocket, and, you're just like, oh no. He's gonna crash that thing straight into Earth and make everyone fuzzy, and that'll be the end of that. But no. To the rescue. Come. Deep cut. Hooray. Commander of the eels, Fry, sends her eels up into the air. The shark mistress, Shiver, brings along Master Mega Uwu.
You get to ride Master Mega.
You get to ride Shiver's Master Mega.
And then Big Man gives you earphones.
Yeah, it's a space helmet.
Big Man fashion. Is it a space helmet?
That's why you can breathe in space, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it not only gives you the sick power of
the
final boss music.
Everyone else can breathe in space.
Mr. Grizz is like some kind of ascended
Monster,
being at this point. And
he's like 3,000 years old.
Little Buddy is clearly immortal, having been chucked into many bosses and just throwing himself into the water constantly.
There's like the thing when you're in between, like in the little hub worlds, and you'll be trying to look for like little trinkets for you or whatever, like little eggs or like sunken scrolls or discs. And sometimes he'll throw himself into the water because his pathfinding isn't good enough.
It's very funny every time, and he's fine because he's immortal. Now, Little Buddy, when you're in heaven, you're in space on the rocket. Little Buddy, he hears the sweet sound of a million sea creatures calling his name.
No, that's not that bit. First you have to like throw Little Buddy onto his like his wounds.
Yes, Mr. Grizz has various open wounds.
He'll throw specials at you,
ripping his own fur out to create the. It's kind of grim, isn't it? Anyway, you got to exploit that by inking it and then throwing Little Buddy at it when it produces a big boil of fuzzy ooze. We should probably explain here that the fuzzy ooze is made from Mr. Grizz's fuzz, golden eggs, and the magical crystals used by the humans, which I'm going to say...
Magical crystals are harvested from squid.
They are. There's a part of... the sea creatures who lived in Alterna, aren't they?
Yeah.
I believe it's like probably poisoned water down there, made with
it's probably nuclear waste. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are in a nuclear bunker, which is kind of grim.
Also, I would like to add that the music here is banging.
Yeah. Oh, the final boss music is a bop.
I will be putting them in.
Hell yeah! It's a twisted fairy tale. Like it's the Grizzco lobby music from Splatoon 2 and indeed Splatoon 3. That tune that goes do 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 do, and it's that over. It's completely out of sync,
and then there's
just
like
out of step.
That goes.
That's great. and it slowly builds up over the course of the fight, and the round 3, when you're finally winning, and Mr. Grizz is clearly like on his last. Mr. Grizz slowly starts melting throughout the fight, which is kind of disturbing. Like parts of him fall off.
I've got like one picture where he just looks really dishevelled, and he's just like looks kind of wet, and he's just like sort of like grumpy and sad.
Yeah.
But like the funniest thing about Mr. Grizz is the fact that he is a grizzly bear, but he looks exactly like just like those tiny-headed bears.
Yeah, he's
so cute though. Like, yeah, sure, he's like fucking spawn of Satan, but he's cute.
He has a tragic backstory. Don't worry. There's a reason why he's like this. Which we'll go over once we describe the fight.
Yeah.
You're in Rocket. You throw you collect golden eggs, and you use those to power Little Buddy when you're throwing them at fuzzballs in the way. Then you ink his wounds, throw Little Buddy at him, rinse and repeat to tear him a new one. It's so cool. The music is amazing. Round 3 of the music, as I was going to say, it adds like really human, and it sounds exactly like that. If you've heard it in the background, then you'll know what I mean. Because usually every single voice sample in Splatoon is a kind of modulated squid kind of noise, and it's like a otherworldly alien kind of noise.
2 songs here. I don't know, well, there's at least 2 songs where it's like a human voice.
Yeah, this is the most human. The other one's kind of like a.
It is distorted.
They're both distorted.
Squiddalized.
The bang bang music is that's like a very electronic kind of passed through a million filters.
Yeah.
You can't really tell what it's saying apart from when it says dance, which is good. Banger. But here it's like male voice choir going. It's like the powers of the mammals being beaten back by the fresh beats of the sea creatures, and oh my good lord, it's really good.
Yeah, and there is another phase. I can't remember how it happens, but you get like knocked off the rocket.
You do. Mr. Grizz turns that thing around. He's like, nah, I'm not losing this easily. You get thrown into space. Oh no, it's all over. They're gonna turn the earth fluffy.
Who comes and rescues you? Bloody DJ Octavio.
He's here in his mech, hooray! Ah.
We've joined forces with the villain.
The villain of the last 2 games. There he is. He's like, nah, don't need this fluffy shenanigan.
And he's like, let's throw down this beat.
And he does, and he plays the Calamari Incantation 3 mix, which is a bop. Not as good as the Phase 1, which is kind of a theme for Splatoon.
Yeah.
If you ask me. Like, Phase 1.
Yeah, but you couldn't just
so
go
better.
without playing Calamari Incantation, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. But yeah. Anyway, this time it's sung by Deep Cut for the most part, which is cool.
Yeah.
You can get some 8-8 action.
This is the point where Small Fry is
Yes. Small Fry is bought
embiggened with the voice of 1,000 animals or whatever the hell happened.
1,000 dead sea creatures rise up as Small Fry hears Calamari Incantation 3 mix, and he says, no, I will not stand idly by to see the age of the sea creature be cut short by Mr. Grizz. I will fight him. And he turns
He's like,
into...
this is such a bop that I'm gonna rise up.
Which is kind of based. Either way, he turns into a giant realistic salmon with the haircut of your choice.
Yeah, so no matter what, you can change the haircut and go back and play it, and it'll be a different haircut each time, which is really fun.
It's fantastic. And he fights Mr. Grizz.
There's just like a mega battle between this giant salmon and this giant bear. It's sick.
Yeah, Mr. Grizz is ginormous at this point. He seems to have
He's
accumulated
so
most of the
big.
fuzzy ooze. He seems to be mostly made of fuzzy ooze at
As
this
well,
point.
yeah.
He does sort of slick into it a few times in order to retreat. Anyway, you're on top of the DJ Octavio mech. He's Small Fry is fighting, and you have to get in close and give him a shave.
You're not shaving, you're hoovering. Oh, you're vacuum. It's vacuum cleaner.
It's a shaver with a vacuum cleaner on it. Yeah, so we're
It's a
both right.
suction.
Yeah, it's definitely a shaver with a vacuum cleaner on it.
Okay, sure.
Either way, you get in close, you shave him, and you got 3 minutes to do it. 3 minutes 33 seconds. And you can do it. Hooray! If you don't do it, you get a bad ending, which I only know about because I saw someone do it.
That's someone being...
That's someone being J-Moji. He didn't realise you could move forward. That's fine. The game doesn't tell you can move forwards, but there we
You'd
are.
try, wouldn't you?
You might try that. Anyway, you shave old Mr. Grizz. You bring him down to size. Unfortunately, you don't get to see him completely shaved.
Oh, that would be funny. No, actually, it would be kind of scary because I like he's fluffy.
Oh, it'd be good if he became wiry and thin and all horrific.
No,
By the
that would be
last-
too scary.
Yeah. No, he's still a teddy bear at the end, even if he is there's big chunks missing out of him and he looks like he's...
disheveled.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to collapse.
And then he's like, "Oh, your employment is over."
Yeah, don't accept severance pay is his
Yeah.
final words as he explodes in space, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, he's so into the boss culture.
Yes.
He is the girl boss.
He uses management speak all
Yeah.
the way through these fights, which is
Oh, yeah,
very
he's
funny.
even like, "Oh, HR wouldn't approve of this," as if he has HR.
Yes, you can't call it Hairmageddon. HR didn't approve of it,
HR
There you
didn't
are.
approve.
which is really funny.
That
Yes.
whole sequence is really funny because there's joke after joke.
Yeah. All the while you're in space listening to this epic music, and yeah, it's just so cool. Oh my god.
Yeah, very much different to Splatoon 2 story mode, but
Yeah, kind of was much better, but yeah, and that's the final boss. You run the credits as the new hero, Agent 3, and little buddy zoom off home on Octavio's ship. The rocket has blown up. The
Okay.
fuzzy ooze is all in space where it can't cause any harm.
I wonder
Hopefully.
what Agent 8's doing and why Agent 8 is seething because they're not Agent 3.
Agent 8 molding. Agent 4 as well. We know that Agent
Nobody cares about Agent 4.
Agent 4 lives near not Splatlands, Splatville,
Splashdown.
Splashland. Agent 4 lives over on that side of the bay because it all takes place in one very large bay. Fun fact.
That's how there's water.
That's how there's water. That's how you visit old stages. It's all quite close. Yeah. Agent 3's there, Captain 3's there, Agent 4, Agent 8 are not there. Perhaps they will return for the inevitable single-player DLC.
Polina.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Agent 8 at least.
Yeah.
Either way. And then you get a really great credit sequence in space,
Yeah.
where you get to see Mr. Grizz kind of drifting.
So sad.
Yes. He is now stuck in space as he was for 12,000 years. Either way, that's not the end. When you come back, assuming you've completed every other kettle, one last kettle unlocks.
The most evil, devious
Level possible. After
labyrinth.
After
A
Alterna,
gauntlet.
complete it to unlock the blank logs. Ooh, what's this, you say? Because you've read everything about Alterna, you know about the last days of humanity. You're like, what else is there to say? Well,
Bears.
quite a lot. Who is Mr. Grizz? Why is Mr. Grizz there? And several other questions need answering, but first you have to play the hardest stage. Yeah, harder than anything in Octo Expansion for sure. Girl Boss Station. Hard. Not as hard as this. This is 4 sections of hell.
The first bit is so tedious.
The first bit's the
Because
hardest.
there's no checkpoints and you have to do everything like without dying, or you have to start over, and it's just like, oh my god.
And every time you start over, it's 3,000 eggs.
It's a lot of eggs.
So, yeah, well, you get 3 lives, but either way, 3,333, of course. You get there. Orca says ... You get the hero shot, and little buddy, you set out, and it's immediately Ninja Warrior.
It's Ninja Warrior.
It's great. It's the like the way you go right foot, left foot across. And it's got some enemies and it's cool.
Spinny bits.
Just above instant death water, spinny bits.
Oh, the bit that made me like my palms sweat so much was like, you'd go on the moving sort of pillars things over the water, and you had to like drop down on a very specific bit, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's so small. It's incredibly hard. The next section, on rails balloon popping. You miss one balloon, you're dead. Back to the start, boy. Luckily, you go back to the start of the balloon popping section. They're
Yeah,
not
you don't
that
have to
cruel.
do. Oh,
Yes. Anyway, that's very hard. Then you go not finally,
no.
penultimately, into a box section full of a cool kind of box, which we haven't really talked about. We haven't really talked about game mechanics. That if you shoot, it shoots out more boxes. It's kind of reminiscent from something from Super Mario Maker, so that's kind of interesting.
It's kind of a replacement of those like sponges. But it's not a replacement because the sponges are still there, but it acts kind of similarly.
Yeah, acts similar.
Where it like
bit different.
expands over a gap so you can walk over it.
Yeah, difficult section has a checkpoint halfway through it, which is
Which
good
is nice
because
this
it's
is probably
very
the
long.
This is the easiest bit to do, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's very long though.
It is long.
You will
But there's a midway checkpoint.
You'll
so-
definitely die at least once, I'd say, unless you
Oh
were
no.
very, very good. And final section, we have Girl Power Station Part 2. Basically, it's a gauntlet of about 25 of elite octolings, which you haven't seen at all in the story so far. They are very good AI.
Yeah.
And there's 25 of them. And they have all kinds of weapons. And they're all out for your blood. And they can throw bombs. And they have specials for the last 10 or so.
Specials are annoying.
Yeah. Inkjet. Inkzuka.
Yeah.
They have. There's Big Bubbler, which isn't really that bad.
Just ignore them.
Yeah. I think they have. I think one of them has rain. I can't really remember.
There is rain. You get all the specials in like the cans anyway, so can't remember if they have rain, but you definitely have.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember getting Ultra Stamp and Wave Breaker. Either way, and once you finish that, hooray, you finished. You unlocked the blank logs.
Also, you get their ears.
Yes, bear ears, new stamp to put on your splat tag.
Little grizz bear.
Yeah, little grizz so you can spoil the final boss for everyone. And
You'd have to be looking.
I think when you see that bear, you're just like, why is there a bear there? Mr. Grizz? Question mark. That's what I'd think anyway. Maybe I'm just obsessed with Splatoon though, I don't know. Either way, you unlock the blank logs, and these explain the history of the Arc Polaris. Hooray! The last map added to Splatoon 2. They were playing the long game here, people. Salmon Run map, which is a crashed ark, as you'd imagine, which is, in this case, a giant spaceship. Which it turns out was full of animals. Hooray!
Noah's Ark, anyone?
Yes, humanity tried to save the animals and it didn't work. How depressing. Yep, they sent the Ark
that's really sad.
sent Ark Polaris up into space, and it immediately got into trouble, and they had to return, and it hit space junk because humanity had really screwed everything up, and it just orbited Earth for 12,000 years.
So, all these animals, I guess, were in cryogenesis or whatever.
They were in cryo sleep. Did they die there? Did they die
in the crash?
Did they die in the crash? Are they all still alive in there? Or were they eaten by a bear? Who knows? Because...
Probably eaten by a bear, because there's only one bear.
There's only one bear?
Mr. Grizz. He's named Bear number 3.
He is.
Which I just thought about, because you were saying, there's like the 3-3 like time and the 3 eggs. Bear 3.
Yeah.
Splatoon 3.
Sure is. Why did they need 3 bears in space? Perhaps they didn't. Perhaps he was the only bear and they were going to clone other bears from him. Because cloning technology does exist, as we see little Judd. But perhaps they did bring 3 bears. Perhaps there was like 1 male bear and 2 female bears. They were like, we can bring bears back.
We're bringing bears back.
After we've killed all the others. But no, Mr. Grizz is the only surviving bear that we know about.
It makes me think that Mr. Grizz ate everyone.
Could be. I don't know. I'd imagine he was the only survivor of the crash. We know the humans died for sure in the crash. Well,
were they eaten by a bear?
I don't know. He was in He was in failed cryo sleep for 12,000 years, which is why he's mad. Long story short,
no one's supposed to be asleep for that long.
Yes, asleep and conscious. His body was kept alive through that, but his mind was wandering.
He was very much aware that there were no more mammals.
He was very much aware that he was drifting alone in the cold depths of space, without a hope. And then he had a hope, and he returned, and he landed in this godforsaken planet, and
oh my god, I was wrong.
What did he find?
Was Earth all along.
Did he find a nice planet full of nice fresh salmon he could hunt and mammals ruling the planet? Nope. He found weird freaky salmons that scared him. He found salmons with big bins full of missiles.
They were using the kitchen utensils as armour.
Yes, the salmons have become a weird tribe of kitchen utensil loving strange people, and the world was dominated by squids and octolings. And he wasn't very happy about that.
But you think about it, they are the new mammals now, though. They are the humans.
Yeah, Mr. Grizz didn't think about it that way. He wanted the life he had known.
But he wasn't gonna get that in a new planet anyway, so I don't...
Well, that's a Judd way of thinking, but then Judd wasn't thinking for 12,000 years. Judd was fine. Judd wasn't presumably on the Ark Polaris.
Yeah. Where was Judd?
He was in a bunker, I believe.
Oh.
He was unfrozen by squids when they found him. Yeah. They found him around the time of the Great Turf War, and he was the one who ended the Great Turf War by saying that the Inklings had won with their bamboozlers. Exactly. Lore. Ain't it cool? Yeah. And all of this has just the coolest pictures in this last Alternologue, where you get to see like Mr. Grizz in front of a million grey screens and looking over it.
Sleeping bear.
Yeah. You get to see squids and octolings walking out of the ocean in a kind of hyper-realistic squids and octopuses way, which is most odd. And yeah, it's just perfect, isn't it? The whole thing's perfect.
Yeah. I was just thinking about those memes where it's like Splatoon, and then it's like Splatoon lore.
You mean like Poland?
Yeah.
Poland gameplay, Poland lore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Poland gameplay.
People driving around in larders and the like. But yeah.
The lore.
So you didn't have to carry on. That's how that goes. I've just noticed we've hit the hour mark. That's exciting.
Bloody hell.
It's the longest one ever, talking about the story mode for Splatoon 3. Because
It isn't the longest one ever.
Oh,
I'll let that slide. The longest one we did was for E3,
fair enough. Well,
which, like, corrupted.
ugh. I could talk a little longer, but not too much longer.
I think we covered everything anyway, so...
Covered all the bases. If you haven't played story mode, like, it's...
Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You get, like, this amazing, like, trailer for it, and you think, oh, that looks really cool, and not play it.
Yeah.
Instead, go play table turf or whatever.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That's fine. Okay. Well, if we haven't convinced you that...
Yeah, if we haven't spoilt it enough that you don't want to play it,
yeah, please don't listen to this podcast.
you should just play it for the music alone. Absolute bangers.
Oh yeah, the story mode music is always good, and here it's like weird and cool, and especially the final boss music is just fantastic.
Shout out to the Big Man song. Is it called Bing Bang or Bang Bang? Bang Bang.
It's not really got an official name.
Bang Bang.
On YouTube they call it Bang Bang.
Bang Bang.
Though,
Yeah, I've seen it called Bing Bang, and I've seen it called Bang Bang as well.
Bob. Gotta love it. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
This has been the musical episode of the Splashdown podcast.
Indeed, we should sing you out with a nice tune, shouldn't we?
If you leave me now,
take away the biggest part of me.
We get copyright struck.
Because it's such a
yeah,
good
it's
representation.
So on the mark.
Yeah, you're right, we shouldn't do that then. We should just say, thank you for listening. Goodbye.